What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the first video of 2025. Today's the day that we do all the books I read in 2024. I read a lot of books this year. It was a good reading year. I read 52 books. And first we're going to go over some stats before we start, because I said so and I can. My most read genre was young adult, followed by fantasy. My average rating this year was 3.9 stars, and my most read authors were Holly Black at 7 books and Kiera Cass at 7 books. So, I read a lot this year. Those are the stats. There's only 3 for this year. We're gonna start right now. So, starting off, I read These Hollow Vows and These Twisted Bonds. I read this in Florida, and I read this on a plane and in a car all the way home. These books were really, really good. These were the first books I read of the year were 5 stars. I really, really do recommend this duology. I will reread these eventually. I just could not tell you when I will, but I'm going to soon, I hope. Then I read Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. I actually tandem read these just because I wanted to. And then I read Surprisingly Sarah, which is it's just a series that I've read since elementary school, so every time they come out with a new one, I need to get it, although I haven't gotten the most recent one, so I probably will soon, but yeah, these have a special place in my heart, and I will continue to get them. Then I read Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I do want to reread this series. This was an incredible series. I loved it very much once I get out of my reading slump, so I will probably be rereading these this year when I'm not in it, because I know how much the series means to people, and the first 4 were not rated well because I was literally in a book slump while reading it. Then I read Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Just a small, quick read to do that and get out of a slump. Didn't work, but I did read Winnie the Pooh. Then I read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I read this for a video that I posted on Valentine's Day. I plan to reread this because it was a really good book. Same with Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This book also has a special place in my heart. I love it. I did learn that Lynn Painter is my favorite romance author. I read The Do-Over, Better Than Betting on You, and Better Than the Movies. I loved them all of which were 5-star books. So I can, for a fact, recommend Lynn Painter. I'm going to be reading all of her books and reading Nothing Like the Movies as well. I love this author so much. Then I read Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer, which I got for my birthday last year. And this was a really good book. It was fun, it was lighthearted, it was funny, all things that I love in a book. So yeah, I actually stayed up late finishing this, and I am excited. The 3rd one comes out in August of 2025, so I'm excited to read it. I did read the 2nd one later on in the year. You'll see that later. So yeah, Assistant to the Villain. I really do recommend this book. It was so funny. I'm rereading that this year for sure. Then I read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I have the dust jacket, but I have a friend currently borrowing it. I do want to reread this as well at some point because these books were incredible. Then I had the Cruel Prince trilogy. Now, I actually technically read these twice, but they're only once because I only tracked them once. I actually read the 3 of them as I do every year. I tabbed them this time around, and I'm going to go through again. And I also audiobooked them, but I didn't track them, so I actually don't know when I audiobooked them. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is back when I did not count audiobooks as reading. That changes later in the year. You'll see that development. So, yeah, The Prince. Then I read How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories. Then I reread The Stolen Heir. I actually don't like The Stolen Heir, but I only reread it because The Prisoner's Throne was coming out. And these were like stars. Kind of sad because I love Holly Black's writing, but Cruel Prince cannot be beat in my mind. It is my favorite book. I will stand by that. I don't care that it's like, well, it's just because of the hype. I love that book. It won't stop me from saying it's my favorite. If I have a favorite book, it will be my favorite book. It has only changed twice now. I want to reread all my favorite books this year, specifically my childhood ones, which are The Land of Stories and Keeper of Lost Cities. I did not read any of them this year. Yes, I will be rereading those. Keeper probably soon because a new one came out that I have, and yeah, stay tuned for that because there's a haul coming. that those are in. But yeah, The Stolen Heir and The Prisoner's Throne. Then I read the selection. Oh, here's my opinions on the selection. Okay, liked the first 3. I loved the original trilogy. If I'm ever gonna reread them, these are the 3 I'll read, along with the last novella in Happily Ever After, because I think that it's really cute to see them after. I really do. I also read all of these books in a day. Like, I read the selection in a day, the elite in a day, and the one in a day. These books were amazing. This I read in like 2 days. I loved these books. The Crown and the Heir. I did not like these books. These were probably the lowest rated books of the year. And I have reasons. So, first of all, it feels way too copycat of the first one, which I get that's the whole point, and I don't like it. The daughter thing, that's kind of fun. I like seeing Maxon in America. Okay, love that. I think it's very, very sweet. However, she is a narcissist. You can't spin it any other way to me that she is not a narcissist. Her brother finds love and she doesn't like that he does that. He wants to get married. She's like, no, you can't leave me. She's a complete narcissist. She hates everyone. All she wants is her. And well, yes, I get it. You are having a little bit of a difficulty, with stuff. This book is so irritating. Like, just irritating. But I had a box set, so I had to read them. But it was so irritating. Then I got in the book slump and I read Powerless. Oh my word, I love this book so much. It was so good. Some of the quotes in this book, oh my word. I'm rereading this year without a doubt. Powerless, Reckless, and Fearless, which is coming out in April. I have money set aside literally for that book when it comes out because I am so excited. I cried at the ending of this book and Reckless. I'll talk about Reckless later. Oh my word, this book was incredible. Kai, adding to the list of dudes, fictional guys. Oh my word. This book, I highly, highly, highly recommend this if you like fantasy. And even if you don't read this book, it's good. Then I read The Betrothed. I really did like The Betrothed. Another Kiera Cass book. I really did like this book. Didn't like the ending, but I liked the whole story. So there's that. And then this was the first DNF of the year. So I bought both of them on Book Outlet for like $10, so it's really not that big of a deal. I won't read this book. I can't do it. I won't read it. Doing it. It's not worth it to me to read it. So I'm not going to. I didn't count this as my 52 books. So yeah, the book is unbearable. I can't read it. Can't get past the 4th chapter. And yeah, there's that. Then we read, Brothers Hawthorne. Although this feels... No, I didn't. I missed a bunch of months. I did. Jesus Freaks. I read this every year. It holds a very special place in my heart, so I have this. I read that for a school project, actually. Then I read Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. These are another 2 books that hold a very special place in my heart. I love these a lot, so I have those. I audiobook Ronin Rising. I couldn't get through it. I don't like this series. You could not pay me enough money to reread this series. I will not reread it. You literally can't pay me enough money to reread it. And I think that that's the problem with Six of Crows is I don't like this series. So I'm scared I'm not going to like Six of Crows, but I have it. I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, so I'm going to read them at some point. And then after that, I read The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. I read this in 2 days. I love this book. I love this movie. I actually want my mom to read this. I watched this with my mom, and she cried. Really like this book. I bought this one because I wanted to read tomorrow, but this one was smaller, shorter, cheaper because I got it on sale. So yeah, The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry. Then I got The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. I love Trisha Levenseller, actually. This book was so good, and no, there's not enough I could say about this book to portray my feelings. Read it. It was phenomenal. And then I read The Darkness Within Us, and I almost DNF'd it from the first 2 chapters. Don't do that. I brought it on a road trip with me that was like an hour and a half long, so I literally had to read it. And I'm glad I did because I ended up reading it in 2 days. I loved this book so much, so I have that. Then I read the graphic novel Whitebird. Now I don't own this because I literally borrowed it from Libby, which you love Libby, because I wanted to read it. Then I read Powerful. I cried. If you know, you know. Oh my word, this book was heart-wrenching. So yes, Powerful. And then I read Reckless. The ending, okay, if you know, you know. The ending of this book is insane. I cried like a lot. Um, yes, Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Read this trilogy. I cannot recommend this trilogy enough. I am buying the next book as soon as it comes out, rereading this and getting the third one and reading that. I'm so excited for that third book to come out. I need it now. Then I read Apprentice to the Villain. I really like this series. It's just so lighthearted and funny that I think it's just there's just something about like a lighthearted book like this that is always nice, and so I am excited for the third one to come out. I really do. I love this series so much. Then I audiobooked Holes, 3 stars. Not because it was bad, just because it's kind of forgettable. I kind of forget that I read this a lot, so it's 3 stars. I read Tom Lake. I did really enjoy Tom Lake. I think I rated it 4 stars. It took me a while to read, but I like this book. It was really like it's just a nice story. I feel like I should have audiobooked it. I think I would have liked it a lot more audiobooked, so I might audiobook it if I ever read it again. I'm trying to convince my mom to read it because I feel like it's like this would be up my mother's alley much more than mine, I think. But I did really enjoy it, so I feel like she would as well. Then I have Killjoy by Holly Jackson. I really wanted to get a taste of Holly Jackson's writing. I want to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and this is literally like novella on how she gets started. So I figured I would read it. I did really like it, and I am going to be reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder at some point. Then I have The Brothers Hawthorne. I borrowed this from the library. I still have it. Probably should have returned it like 2 months ago, but I kind of forgetting to. But yes, I have The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I am gonna buy it eventually, but that. Then I read the novella Better Than the Prom. I missed those characters so much. I wanted them back. I really did. I have that. Then I audiobooked The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I audiobooked a lot in the last half, just because I have a long TBR. This has been on my TBR for like 2 years, and I really just wanted it to leave my TBR, so I audiobooked it, and yeah, I have Ruby Holler. So this one's funny. I read half and audiobooked half. This was my childhood book. I was actually this I read in October, and during October I was working on my trunk or treat for my church, and I was doing a Bluey card, and it was so much fun. But I wanted to listen to something while I was working on it, so I I listened to Ruby Holler while working on it and stuff like that. Then I read Five Survive, and I read this book in 2 days. So I have really, really high belief in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder whenever I get to that because of this book. This book was good. It was 5 stars easily, or 4.75 or whatever I rated it. I read this book so fast. It was so good. I recommend this, and I will continuously recommend this book. Then I actually read this for school, but I read the whole book, so I'm still counting it, because why wouldn't I? Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, the young adult version, and I liked it. I won't give it a rating. I'm not going to give it a rating. It's a true story. And continuing, I read Howl's Moving Castle. Again, 50-50, read and audiobooked. When I watched the movie. I will say, if you like the movie, the book is completely different story, pretty much. You might also like Howl's Moving Castle, the book. I liked both of them personally. So yeah, it's really good. Then I have The Darkest Part of the Forest. Now I read this because I figured that if I like her writing style, this was so like her backlist. It was really, maybe this came out. No, I think this came out after The Cool Prince. It was really, or before. It came out before, I think. It was really slow. And I don't like that it was really slow. I actually audiobooked again half of this because it was so hard to get through that I just gave up and audiobooked it. Now, I read this book the full way through, Sorcery of Thorns. I really liked this book. Actually planning on reading the novella that comes after it because I miss these characters so much. I recommend this book so much. It's basically a standalone, but there's a little novella that comes after if you want to read it. Read this book. It is phenomenal. And then I audiobooked, again, Forging Silver into Stars, just to get it off my TBR because it's been on there for a while. But it was a really good book. Don't think I would have liked it if I read it though. It's just so long that it was nice to listen to. I don't think I would have liked, like, I just don't. There's certain books, you know, and I read this every year, the best Christmas pageant ever. I also was supposed to read A Christmas Carol, and I didn't. I'll read it next year. I'm reading it every year for a while. I read like half of it. I don't want to finish it right now, so I'm not going to, but I do have the best Christmas pageant ever. And the last book is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, the holiday novella from the Caraval series, or the Caraval trilogy. Anyway, you guys, those are the 52 books I read this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a long one, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.